Yo, what up, world? It's your boy C's from the seasonlife.com. Welcome to another episode of the Fitpro Development Podcast. My next coach comes from Boston, Massachusetts. We met back when I completely went independent and trained out of a small fitness studio in Boston. She also was the co-founder of the Fitpro Development League Facebook group and also a member of my mastermind. So she had so many things, like very instrumental in my growth, and looking forward to hearing some of her stories. So without any further ado, let's welcome Tara to the podcast.
Hello.
Oh,
What up?
what's up, Tara?
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for joining me. I'm
Yeah,
looking
sure.
forward to grabbing as much of, you know, because you're like instrumental to this platform, right? So
hmm
you were part of that think tank, and I was like, yo, she has a lot of expertise in the field, a lot of experience, and like just share it, right? So
Mm.
again, success leaves clues. So tune in. Tara has a lot to say, and she's
I'll
been
keep
in
it
the
brief.
game for a minute. She's been in the game for a minute, so like I would take notes. Grab a notepad, take some notes. All right. So without any further ado, Tara, let me. I already told them who you are, where you from. What is it that you currently do?
You want the long or the short of it? Well, I started my business many years ago, back in 2002. I actually shouldn't say that. I was working for a company back then. So when I started my business, when my son was born, like going completely on my own in 2014, I was kind of all over the place, really struggling to figure out where my fit was within this industry. And it really occurred to me that I don't really need to figure everything out all at once. It just has to come as you move along within your industry. So right now I'm running my own business as an independent solopreneur. Just launched a fitness app. So I have one-on-one live sessions. I also have Zoom online sessions, predominantly Zoom since COVID, and now my fitness app. And I also run corporate wellness sessions for a company called Task Human. So it's a little bit of everything: personal training, yoga instruction, health counseling, nutritional coaching and guidance, mindset shifting, behavioral changing, everything wellness, I guess. That,
Yeah.
I guess that pretty sums it up.
Yeah, we're going to definitely get into the new things because I've been watching from afar on social media, and it looks pretty good. So we'll definitely touch on those. But before we do, like, take me back, right, um, to that point of origin, right? Tell me that story when you knew you wanted to pursue fitness as a career.
So I played soccer all my life, and I was a gymnast at one point, and I played soccer into college, and I really thought I wanted to be a doctor because I loved being around and helping people from that regard. But I hated the hospital and I hated blood. Once I got into the hospital, I was like, it just made me feel so anxious. But I didn't really know that there was a direction in sports, and I don't know why it never occurred to me. So my journey led to accounting and finance. Some reason I felt that I needed to climb the corporate ladder and be in the industry of finance. I ran out of college, right to Boston. Decided to work in the finance industry because that was the only thing that would pay me right out of college at the career
Hmm.
fair. So I signed up with them, was in finance for about 6 years, and I realized it just wasn't a fit. Something was just gnawing at me, and I couldn't figure out what it was. But my sister would always ask for my advice because I was working out, I was still staying fit, really involved with wellness from my own personal um, perspective. And she loved seeing me grow and continuously get better and better and better. And she just asked my advice and wanted me to help her lose weight. And she lost weight. And she's like, "You're really good at this. Why aren't you doing this as a career?" And I was like, "I don't know. I didn't think there was a career at the time." And my husband was like, "You can do personal training and work in the fitness industry." I was like, "Really? I had no idea." And so he worked across the street from this company called HealthWorks, and it was an all-female facility. And I went in there and I just applied. I said, "I have no fitness experience. All I know is I played soccer all my life and I've been exercising forever." And that's all I know. And she said, well, let's see what you know. And so she gave me a test right on the spot. And I took the test and I was like surprised at how much I knew about anatomy and physiology. I mean, I was pre-med in college, so I did have some sort of background, right? Even though I didn't graduate, I graduated with an economics degree, not pre-med. So I took the test and I got an 86. I was so proud of myself for like knowing anything about fitness. And she's like, well, great, you're hired. You can work as early as tomorrow. I was like, oh, well, I still have a job. So I don't know if I can really work tomorrow. She's like, well, can you work at night? And I was like, I guess. So I went to my day job, 9 to 5. And then I went to HealthWorks and worked 6 to 10. And that went on for 2 years. And I was just doing double shifts. And, I would wake up and I would work out before going to my 9 to 5. And then I would go back because I got a free membership, right? So I could work out, go to work, and then go back and teach abs classes and work as a fitness specialist where you just walk around the gym and give people towels and ask if they need help turning on a treadmill. I was like, this is easy. I can make a career out of this. It doesn't pay very well. So I might need to look into it a little further.
Yeah, Joe, that is, and then I can see iterations of that throughout your journey too. Like, just going after it. That is quite the entry point, man. And the funny thing is I had a guest yesterday, on yesterday's interview, and they were talking about like the same thing. Basically, almost every one of my guests that came on the podcast had the same sort of entry point. Like, they were into sports all their lives, and they did the corporate thing. It really wasn't, and there was a calling for them. They just didn't have the right words, whether it's personal training, fitness professional, wellness coach. Those languages didn't really exist back then, but now it's like more prevalent, right? So definitely like following your gut instincts, that's commendable. So knowing everything that you know now, being through the ringer, right? What is some advice you needed to hear 10 years ago?
It's a really good question. Having been around so many different types of components of wellness, there's two biggest things. Well, three. Stay curious, trust in the unfolding of your life, and surround yourself with other like-minded people who still want to grow. And really lean into the growth of your career. I always thought that I would be in wellness. I just didn't know how I could really establish myself as a personal trainer. I worked for HealthWorks for 2002 to 2014. And at that time, you couldn't do anything outside of that. And it wasn't a bad thing. You just couldn't have your own presence. Or, that's when the internet was really taking off as far as Instagram and social media. And I kind of got in late to the game. So you're getting in with all these youngsters. You have to trust that you have something that other people want. And that was a big learning curve for me because I was doing a lot of comparing to other people when I went on my own. And that was one thing you have to remove yourself from and understand that you have your own gifts, but still collaborate and continuously collaborate. When you're a solopreneur, you're on your own and you don't, have access to too many people in person. So you have to continuously go scope it out. Whereas if you're in the gym, Equinox, you're surrounded by trainers all day, every day. So you're tapping in to their specialties. So collaborating with other trainers, other physical therapists, other wellness professionals in the industry really helps you to hone in on your skill set, but also create a network of people to tap into when you feel that you're getting in your head and you feel you're not good enough, your ego takes over, or you start comparing, so that you can separate yourself from all of that. And really just stay curious and continuously grow. Like, don't stop growing. Much like fitness, you just keep going. You don't stop, right? It's not like one day you're like, I'm just not going to work out today for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you use it or you lose it, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the principles. You use it or you lose it. But that's great, man. Staying curious, like, got me so far. Like, not settling to just basics, right?
Yeah.
Like when you do join these fitness corporations or these wellness institutions, they
Hmm.
have like their sort of structure and like their branding, right? Everything is just their branding, their principles, their foundations, their sales tactics, everything. But when you go off on your own, there is no parameters set, and you're
Hmm.
left to figure out everything that they didn't really tell you that goes into, like,
Hmm.
when you go to the gym, right, you get your leads from your membership advisors or your managers and stuff like
Hmm.
that, but no one tends to realize what the company does in the
Hmm.
marketplace to bring
Hmm.
those leads in through the door, right? And they have like all these marketing campaigns, marketing dollars and research and stuff like that. But when you are off on your own, that's what you're facing. You're facing
Hmm.
like the noise that those type of industries create. So like standing out is hard, but it is doable if you do surround
Hmm.
yourself with people that are continuing to grow.
And you have to stay the course. I find that I don't give up when the going gets tough, even though sometimes I want to. Like something inside me is like, oh, I just don't want to do this anymore. It's really hard, but it's not impossible. And I think had I not stayed the course and had the support behind me, I mean, my husband is extremely supportive of what I do and always encouraging me to keep going. And I kept asking myself questions. Okay, what's next? I'm so happy that I got to this point. I got to this point. I celebrated it because you have to create that confidence to be able to get you to the next point. But you still have to celebrate and be grateful that you actually got there. And if I didn't stay the course, I never would be right here where I am. And like most people who are entrepreneurs and don't give up on where they're going or where they're taking something. You know, if you
Yeah.
asked me 2014 if I would be here having my own app or working with other corporations to do wellness sessions or having a thriving like one-on-one business, I would have said no. I probably would go back into a gym space or do something else
Yeah,
because it's hard. You know,
yeah,
here we
it
are
is.
2022 and I'm still evolving. I'm not at the place that I want to be yet financially, but we're always striving for more, right?
Yep,
I guess that's the
definitely.
point.
Always.
Hmm.
That's human nature, is like
Hmm.
the continuous unfoldment of what's to
Yep.
come, right? And that vision starts with the imagination. I always say
Hmm.
your imagination
Curiosity.
holds all the keys to what it is that you want. Just got to
Hmm.
dream, continue to
Hmm.
dream. So
Yep.
for those who are going back and they want to skip all the hardship, right? They want to skip
Mm.
all the hardship. They're like, man, that sounds like a hell of a journey, but I believe in shortcuts, right? So
Mm.
um for those individuals graduating out of the academy or like starting their positions in these institutions, like what should they be doing right now if they want a career like yours?
Hmm. I think they have to, I did a lot of exploring of the kind of trainer that I wanted to be and the kind of people I wanted to work with. And that was something that was never really introduced to me in the sense where you had to like know your why, understand your niche, and figure out like your branding and all of that back end stuff. I just had to chip away at it for like 6 years. And now I'm like, okay, this is it. And I made him a lot of mistakes because that's what you have to go through. You have to go through those mistakes. But getting clear on why you want to be a trainer and why you want to do what you do is very, very important. You have to know. Otherwise, that's not going to be enough of a motivator to create the discipline to get you into action. As trainers,
Mhm.
we all are motivated. We want to help people. We want to be fit. We want to teach people how to move better in their body and feel better and lose weight or gain weight, whatever it is. But unless you're crystal clear on why you want to do it, so it kind of brings you to tears, and that's with anything, right? You
Mhm.
won't necessarily, you'll be motivated, but will you have the discipline to take action when times get tough? And that's what kept me going every single time. My why just wasn't, I want to make money. It was, I want to be fit until I'm 99 and have a successful growing business so that I don't depend on people. I feel good. I age well. And I have a thriving business where I can leave a legacy. I feel proud of what I've done. And I think that most people, they enter a career without that sense of, will you feel proud of what you did when you're ready to retire? And I wanted to feel proud of that because you work a long time. And if it didn't bring me joy, then what's the point? I'll
Yeah,
slop
man.
away just for the money. The money's going to come regardless. You know what I mean?
hmm It's
But
it's one of those journeys that unless you actually in it every day and then asking yourself those questions, like people
mm,
underestimate the power of you asking yourself. Like the questions I'm asking you today are the questions I asked myself. Like, yo,
mm,
and those are the questions that keeps me on the path until
mhm,
like I realize what it is that I'm truly passionate about and building.
mhm. And I think it's important to pass that along to other people because, when you learn something for the first time, it's fresh, it's new to you. But then you teach somebody else, and then not only are you teaching them, but you're learning twice. So you're
hmm
continuously growing and evolving. And, you know, the reasons why we do things is so that we can set ourselves up for success for our future generations. And so we can leave an impact. If I help one person, it'll help many because it'll just trickle down. I always tell my clients, I'm teaching you this, but I want you to go teach somebody else so that you can
hmm
teach it and sprinkle it around. And then you learn again so it sticks in your memory.
Yep.
And it's important. And, when people work with me, I don't want them to be dependent on me. I want them to be independent, learn from me, and then go teach somebody else
hmm
and keep spreading it around. And that's something you learn along the way. It's like, that
Yeah.
doesn't just come, it comes with age, right?
hmm
Being more
Like,
wise.
yo, a lot. That's why I like learning because the way that I realize that I truly learn something is when I go and teach it, and that
Yep.
person does that same thing. And just
Mm-hmm.
like I've been watching my clients over the years, just going out teaching, learning the same movement principles. Like, once you
Mm,
stick to the principles, you can like literally just master predominantly everything, right? So
mm-hmm. It's
truly
it's so
truly
true.
believe in that learn do teach
Yeah.
aspect of everything.
And you're saying
um
like shortcuts too. There are certain shortcuts for certain things, but sometimes you just got to go through the long road
yeah.
because it will develop you into this like well-rounded, amazing, like wise person. And when I get off the phone with some clients, even like some of the corporations, I'll get texts or emails and how natural I sound when I speak about a topic because it's the confidence that you develop from years and years of practice. And I think that that is not something people should shy away from, rather, because they took a shortcut. How will they
hmm
develop that confidence within them to be able to share in such a way that it brings people in and you build this relationship with someone where they feel like they were heard? Even though you're just talking about a topic, there are people on the other end that were like, wow, I totally related to that. And I'm so glad I dialed in. I've had people all the time be like, I wasn't going to join this because, the corporation forces them to come. And usually it's like behavioral modification, mindset shifting, creating motivation, get healthy, yada, yada. And after the call, you don't know how many people have written in the comments or said out loud, wow, I'm so glad that I came to this because I never would have had that perspective about what you shared. And you really made me look at it a different way. And I'm going to make a change. They're going to take action. I mean, that to
hmm
me is like, whew, it's
that's
powerful.
actually taking your job seriously. A lot of people get these
Mm-hmm.
corporate jobs and it's like, yo, just to check, I'm just going to show up, tell these people what to do, and if they
Mm-hmm.
don't, still got my check, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
actually doing your job and
Mm-hmm.
like, nah, this is it. This is do this and this, and actually taking the
Mm-hmm.
time to care and share. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And I love that. If I could, well, when I have a platform where I can do it from the masses, kind of like Mel Robbins or Tony Robbins, any of those big guys and ladies, it's sharing and having them take action when you're finished because you've left an impact. And for me, my goal is to help people age well. So aging doesn't have to suck. Because most people think aging sucks because they're convinced that they have to feel a certain way as they age. Well, no way. You don't have to feel that way. And I want to share it in a way that inspires and gives them intention to take action, like right from the gate. As soon as they leave, like
Boom.
they've been changed.
That's all we
And that's
want
how you
as
leave an
coaches.
impact.
That's all we want as coaches, man. Is just
Mm-hmm.
go forth and do. Go and
Mm-hmm.
do.
Because we are
That's
not human doings, we're human beings, but you still have
mhm,
to do to be a
mhm.
human being. And so there is that kind of catch 22 about that. Um, so really teaching them that you have to continuously do, but do it in a smart way. And as coaches, we will teach you how to do it a smart, better way so that you just don't give up and say,
Yep.
well, it's just the aging process. And yeah,
Yeah, that's not the way you want to go out.
yeah,
um,
right.
so like with someone with as lengthy career as yours, you've seen so many changes and shifts
Mm-hmm.
like throughout the fitness industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, take us through that journey. Like what has been the biggest challenges that you had to overcome over the course of your career?
Knowing the kind of trainer that I am, that I want to be, that makes and keeps me authentic. Because there's a lot of noise in our industry, and there's a lot of people who don't have the qualifications or credentials, and anyone can put a video up online and say they're an expert. And honing in on, you are an expert because you have the qualifications, you have the modalities, the methodologies over the course of years and years of experience. So learning how to stand out when there's so much noise, and knowing how to put your blinders on so you're not comparing yourself to other people, because that can be really tough. And then you get caught in your head and think you're not good enough. And no, you got to get out of your head and just be authentic to who you are, get rid of the noise, and just keep moving forward. And
Boom.
it's
That's
hard.
yep. It is. You know, it's tough. Like because now everything is super fast, like instant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
TikTok, instant. You know, dopamine pumping,
Mm-hmm.
pumping, pumping, and that drug completely depletes your motivation
Mm-hmm.
from actually getting up and actually doing something about your
Mm-hmm.
health and wellness, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
is definitely tough, but being authentic, staying true to the message, like as long as the truth is on our side, right? They'll always
Mm-hmm.
make a way back. So all those fads come and go, but the truth
Mm-hmm.
it stands tall.
You know what
So
I always
what
thought?
yeah,
There's
go
one
ahead.
thing that I think that can be really interesting is when I was trying to get clients at the gym, and I was working with other trainers, and we were on commission. So every trainer has to have a certain amount to fulfill their commission and their numbers at
Mhm.
the end of the month. I always said to myself, there are more of them than there are of us, meaning there are more clients who need our services than there are trainers in the world. Not everybody can be a trainer, even though
Mhm.
some people want to be a trainer. Not everybody can, because they don't either have the skill sets or they don't have the passion, whatever it is. There are so many people that need our help. Even trainers need trainers. So
Yep.
you never should feel like you don't have a client, because there are
Mhm.
clients for all of us. And not everybody will want to work with me. So that's why there's you. They want
Yep.
to work with you. So instead of looking at your fellow trainer as competition, you have to collaborate and use them as resources. We collaborate a lot. Hey,
Yep.
Caesar, I'm having an issue with this client. They hurt their shoulder the other day, and I know you worked with somebody who had some shoulder impingement issues. What do you think? And bounce ideas off of one another. I
Mhm.
don't compare myself to Jillian Michaels or Kyla Itzies or any of the other gurus out there. There's billions of people in this world, and not everybody wants to work with Kyla. Not everybody wants to work with, the kind of trainer that, what did I just say? What's her name? Jillian Michaels wants to be.
Yeah. Mhm.
So those people need us because we offer something really special that they need.
Yep.
And so if you're listening and you're in this industry and you feel like you're never going to have a client, you've got to remove that language immediately, because there's more of them than there are of us.
Perfect. So take us through like your biggest wins You had a lot of really big wins lately. So take us through some of those.
I have to say, Instagram is an animal, right? It's a beast. You call it that. Pick one social media platform and just go all in. Don't try to be the hero for 5 different platforms because it's too much work. So I kind of taken Instagram over as my main platform. And I have a Facebook group, I have YouTube, but I don't necessarily do a lot of that right now. So I've started posting on Instagram pretty frequently, mainly reels, using real trend music so that I can align the music with where the trend is and follow the numbers. I'm an accountant, so I like the numbers. So I started doing it every single day. And over time, it's the law of numbers. You do it enough and it gains traction. So I had this one reel that I did a couple of weeks ago. And at October 29th, I was at 1,300 followers. Today, what's today? August 23rd? A little over a month after, my following went from 1,300 to, I think it's at 3,400 right now.
Wow.
Which is unheard of for one, like a little over a month from one reel. And it was just about posture and, kind of hunched over and at your desk. And I showed them 3 different exercises. 2 of the exercises was the same exercise, just a different variation, how to progress it. And then the other one was just like something simple you could do right at your desk, right? But it got over 500,000 views.
Wow.
I've never had that happen on Instagram. And so it brought my following up like crazy. And I'm continuously doing it. So subsequently, I've taken that reel and I created a program on my new app called Posture Lab. And now I'm going to use that as the springboard for my program, which the Posture Lab is going to be starting from like the head, neck, and shoulders. And then I'm going to move to the core, then the hips, then the legs and the ankles. And I'm going to create programs out of it.
Nice.
So stick to one platform, do it consistently, much like your workouts, be consistent with it. I mean, I'm not saying you do it 3 times a day, but try to do it the schedule that fits your lifestyle. I like to do something every day, maybe 6 times a week, we'll say, because sometimes I like to take the weekend off, but be consistent. You have to be consistent in whatever you do, much like your fitness journey. And the results show up. And then you can use that as data to create programs, to springboard you into perhaps what you want to do with your work and with your company or with the wellness industry. But use all these things as data and feedback. That's one of my biggest.
No. That's optimization data, right? People just want to try something and immediately it doesn't work. It's not supposed to work the first time. You gotta keep optimizing it. Like put it into the marketplace, let them taste it. If it's not for them, change up the ingredients a little bit, right? But you kept on, like you've been doing posture things for so long, right? That reel was like easy for you, right? Because you've done it. You've done several other videos like it. You just like twiddled with the music or like picking one platform and sticking to it. But the thing is consistency, like heating up, like just one, they call it like, there was a saying, like you want to boil the pot. You don't want to boil the ocean, right? Like boiling the ocean takes forever. Like it'll take a lifetime. But boiling a pot is shorter, consistent, and staying on message, and you will break through, right? But it takes time honing those skills, because if that was like your first time doing a video like that, or even putting together your things in place or going through what you had to go through, you probably would have had a different response to going viral, right? You probably would have been like, oh, okay, let me just, whatever. But you had an actual plan, you stuck to it, and it worked out. So that's dope, man. I just love hearing stories like that, because the proof's in the pudding.
It's the numbers. You gotta play the numbers game, and that's after. I mean, I posted probably 1,500 posts on Instagram before one actually went viral, and then the other one subsequently, they didn't go viral, which is fine. I'm not going to stop. I got exposure, and people are still liking the video and still being drawn to my page. So I'm just going to keep creating content. So,
Just keep on.
Yeah, I think that was one. And then my branding and really figuring out my branding, my niche market, and having my website. And I have a 12-week online program and a 5-day online program. So I'm slowly really blending it all together in one cohesive product that I offer. So, the Posture Lab will funnel into my app. Once people go into my app and I have memberships, I can offer the 5-day course and the 12-week course at higher ticket items. And you just, you keep going, but you've got to figure out what is it that you want to do within the wellness industry? Because you can't do it all. You can't be a nutritionist. You can't be a fitness specialist. You can't, create a podcast and have, online platform. I mean, you just can't do it all. Like, I have no desire to do a podcast. I just don't. I can't. It's just way too much.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't want to do online courses. I mean, you just have
you just got to pick one thing and start drilling that hole. It's like, when you're drilling for oil, you're not drilling little bits through like the land. You pick an area, right, of focus, and you drill as deep as you can until you strike oil, right? And then that's the same thing with niching. You find the land, right? You find the topic, and you continue to drill down until you grow your audience or you get some oil.
That's right.
So we touched on it a little bit, right, with your app and what you got going on. So tell us, what's the next level for you?
Build the app. Right now, I use a platform called True Coach, and some of you probably are familiar with it. And I have at one time I had about 27 members on there. So it's dialed back a little bit with people traveling and coming off of it. But my new app, it's all branded to my brand. Whereas True Coach, it was like a third-party app, and I had to use all their branding and all their platform. This app, it's through Fitbud. Fitbud's out of India, and India is the host of the app, and they do all the back-end tech. So they have a 3,000 exercise database that you can now utilize for yourself. So you pay like $99 a month. You have an app at the Apple Store, and it's now yours. So you don't have to go out and find an app developer to do all this. This company does it for you. So I was introduced to it by another trainer friend of mine. She uses it, and I fell in love with it because I had so much autonomy with it. And you can utilize their employees, and they're very responsive on how they help you to create programs, workouts, schedules. So now I moved all of my clients who are members onto this app, and I'm just going to keep creating programs and advertise them on the app. And my goal is to, at one point, probably drive enough revenue so that I'm clearing, at first like 10 grand a month from it, and then go up from there, and then offer my programs, like my online coursework, so that I can back away from the majority of one-on-ones that I'm doing via Zoom. I love doing the one-on-ones. I'll never get rid of it totally, but the amount that I'm doing now, I need to dial it back.
Yeah, it's like the hours. Like there's so many hours in a day, and then you want to actually have time to build, and that's like buying your time back, right? You want to create enough revenue, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to offer more to more people, and there's so much hours in the day where you can just do one-on-ones. So like the grouping, the community building, all of that would be like very instrumental to do.
Yes. So please, if you're listening and you are interested in developing your own app, connect with me. You can do it as an affiliate. I do get a commission if somebody goes in and purchases the app. You do have to pay Apple for app hosting at Apple. And I think Google, you do too. I think Google's like $25, a one-time payout. And then Apple's $100 a year to host it. And then Fitbud to help you with the tech side and all the tech development and the organizing and implementation. You have to pay them, I think it's between $50 and $99 a month, so that you can host all your clients on that app. So there is some upfront costs, but if you're interested in starting this app for your own business, please connect with me and I can connect you with them. I would love to, earn a little income if you guys want
There
to
you go.
share
That's what
my
I'm talking
name.
about. There we go. So,
Why not?
like we're gonna leave all the contact information down in the show notes. So feel free to
Mhm.
go out and connect with her. On all you're on all socials, but predominantly on IG.
Yes, Facebook, just Tara Bishop Mazanec. But I do have a group called Glow Strong with Tara Mazanec. I can send you that. And then
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
All right.
Mhm,
So yeah, we'll put those down in the show notes.
mhm.
Any closing notes or key takeaways that you want the audience to leave with?
There was one that I had before that I forgot. And as soon as I get off the call, I'm sure it's going to come back to me. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things.
Hmm.
I think just as trainers, we are here to provide a service and just don't be in competition with other trainers. Be in collaboration and just let's work together to help our society who is struggling with their weight and with their fitness. Let's not have another generation who ages poorly. It's like, let's have a generation who ages like the best generation ever. I'm Gen X, so I would love to I work with 40 and above people,
Hmm.
and I would love to have my generation be like the fittest, most healthy generation. But
Yeah,
right
and
now,
brag like, yo, you lazy, get
yeah,
your butt
millennials
out.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm only kidding. They're probably just as fit.
Yeah, right. They're doing a
Yeah.
lot, man. I'm seeing these
Hmm.
kids these days. It's like,
Yeah.
what's in that water, or what's in like they got
Yeah.
more high-end facilities now in these high
Yeah.
schools and stuff. So
So
yeah,
great.
things are making a difference, but we still
Yeah.
got to do the work and
Hmm.
inform everyone like, yo, these are the ways to succeed, right?
Hmm. Yeah, and just be patient. You should really just trust in the unfolding of your life. If you're putting in the daily action and you're, continuously discovering and developing who you want to be and how you want to fit in this industry, the answers will come. You just got to sit in it long enough and get away from the distractions and trust in the unfolding of your life and just get into action. But just know it's going to happen. You can't just
Boom.
sit there and do nothing.
Yeah, the law of at action, right? Like
Hmm.
attraction, the law of at action. Like in
Hmm.
order for it to work, you have to be at action, and that's the
Yeah.
doing part. You got to do it. Just do
Yep.
it. Well, thank
Yeah.
you, Tara, for
Mhm.
joining us on the podcast. Thanks for.
Yeah.
We would love to have you back, share your expertise in your particular field of interest within the
Mhm.
wellness space. So
Yeah.
don't be a stranger and come on back, okay?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Caesar, for having me. And we can check in like a half a year from now and check in to see how the app's doing.
There we go. Definitely have you come back and like, yo, I told
Yeah.
y'all. All right, let me close out. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for joining yet another episode of Fitpro Development Podcast. Thank you again, Tara, as the guest. Again, if you guys are a fitness pro and whether it's business coach, personal development coach, self-improvement coach, personal trainer, want to get your story out there, feel free to hit me up in my DMs at the Season Life on Instagram or down in the comments. You found this episode helpful, share it on all social media platforms, help this message get out there and continue to grow the show. Yeah, but thank you guys once again. Till the next one, guys. Peace out.